This is the game for you. Florida Gulf Coast and USF. Dunk City meets the running of the Bulls next. You're watching American Conference Basketball on ESPN. Tonight from the Sun Dome on the campus of University of South Florida, it's the 5-4 Florida Gulf Coast Eagles making the 2-hour drive north to take on the 6-2 USF Bulls. Courtside inside the Sun Dome alongside former national championship head coach Carolyn Peck. I'm Rich Hollenberg, and Carolyn, let's face it, this is going to be a fun one tonight. Two teams that love to push tempo, and two teams also that are riding a certain amount of recent momentum. Well,
Florida Gulf Coast University is riding the momentum of the NCAA tournament when they went to the Sweet 16, beating Georgetown and San Diego State. But University of South Florida is on some momentum. They've got two big wins, a comeback against George Mason and also that 2-point victory over Alabama.
There will be dunks aplenty, we can guarantee you that. But style points aside, you think that's going to be the key to the game for both teams?
It is, because both teams have dynamic point guards that average over 5 assists a game. They like to put the ball up around the rim. Remember last year, that's why Florida Gulf Coast was on the map, because of the number of dunks. But this year, it's South Florida that's become a little bit of dunk city. They're averaging about 4.9 dunks a game, and it's because of the two big freshmen inside.
And when you talk about bragging rights, that's something that Stan Heath talked to us about before the game. He said, before this game is over, Tampa might be dunk city. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Kay Jewelers. First for Florida Gulf Coast, Comer, as Carolyn mentioned, the engine for this Eagles team. Bernard Thompson, just 8 points shy of 1,000 for his career. Jamel Jones, Nate Hicks, and Chase Feeler will certainly be on the receiving end of some alley-oops tonight. For USF, Collins, 33rd in the nation in assists. He's joined by Corey Allen in the backcourt. Victor Rudd's their leading scorer, and the freshman Perry and Igbunu up front. We're underway with the home team in white controlling the opening tip.
And I expect Florida Gulf Coast University to look at some point to go zone. I don't know how they're going to be able to handle the big freshman inside.
First shot of the game from Rudd, off the mark, and the rebound goes to Hicks. There's Feeler, his first look, and it's good. Chase Feeler's counting down to 1,000 career points as well.
And he's really a power forward. It's been forced to play more inside because Eric McKnight, he was the one flying around the rim last year. Victor Rudd hit his second jumper, but Eric McKnight, he's still serving a 6-game, well, an extended now 4 more games suspension for Florida Gulf Coast.
Here's Feeler again on the freshman Perry. Comer, Collins, fantastic point guard matchup tonight. Feeler, errant pass, first steal of the game by number 11 in white, Anthony Collins. Here's the first lob of the game. Didn't take long, Carolyn.
Hey, point made. I told you that both of these point guards like to throw it around the rim, but I think that Anthony Collins is one of the best in the country at doing that.
There's the first whistle on USF, and we take a look at the first of what promises to be many dunks in this game.
Well, you watch Anthony Collins. As soon as he gets the ball in transition, he's looking to put it upstairs, and that's where John Igbunu is able to knock it down.
Homer's going to inbounds under his own basket. Out of bounds, it's going to stay Eagles basketball.
University of South Florida in a man-to-man defense, and I think this is something that Stan Heath really hangs his hat on, of how hard his team plays defensively.
Joe Dooley, his first year in Fort Myers, he was a decade as Bill Self's top assistant at Kansas, so he goes from Goliath to David with the Florida Gulf Coast Eagles. That shot off the mark, a rebound by Rudd. There's Collins, guarded by Thompson. Inside, Perry lost it off his foot, and that's a USF turnover. We know Stan Heath is not thrilled about that, but a happy 49th birthday to that young man anyway in his 7th year at the helm at USF. 94 of his 203 career wins as a head coach coming with the Bulls. the early going, it's Corey Allen Jr. checking Comer. You surprised by that?
No, I would put Corey Allen Jr. because of the size. Comer has a little bit of a height advantage over Anthony Collins. Nice
spin move by Brett Comer off the mark. Another rebound by Victor Rudd. He's averaging 5.5 a game.
I'm just interested to see how long Florida Gulf Coast University can stay in a man-to-man. Because especially Chase Feeler, they cannot afford for him to get into foul trouble, and that's been a problem on the road.
Around and out for Anthony Collins, but that's something Stan Heath told us he wants to see more of.
Yeah, he told me earlier today he would like to see him shoot the ball more. Now that is Florida Gulf Coast University of last year, running early offense. And one of the things that Joe Dooley has brought is a little bit more composure to the chaos.
Those 2 points by Thompson means he's 6 shy of 1,000 for his career. 3 minutes gone by. We've got a close one, tied at 4. Collins off the mark with his second consecutive field goal from outside. Perry can't get it to go with the left hand. And Jones controls. Here comes Comer. Tipped away. Rudd for the Bulls. Rudd, jump stop, no good.
No flow to the offense for USF. We didn't see too much of this setup offense from FGCU last year.
Gonna get a whistle on the play before the shot. And that's the first foul for number 11. And any fouls are of concern for Anthony Collins when it comes to Stan Heath strategizing. He needs him on the floor as much as possible.
Yeah, really, there's no other point guard, I think, on that team that can do for the Bulls what Anthony Collins does. He sees the floor very well, he distributes the ball, and he is really the coach on the floor.
Chris Perry, one of the freshman big men for Stan Heath, takes a seat on the bench, and they go a little bit smaller with number 0 in white, Martino Brock, checking into the game. And here's our first look at number 15 in blue. That's Philip Shvedichman. Feeler, bounce pass inside, taken away by Collins.
South Florida not able to get the ball inside. That's their strength. Paint points is where their offense thrives.
And getting to the foul line as well. 30th in the country, or 30 attempts, I should say, per game from the free throw line. 10 on the shot clock. And we've got our first TV timeout of an up-tempo evening so far. 15:25 to go. Only 2 buckets for each team. We're tied at 4. USF at Florida Gulf Coast.
I think Jim's legacy will not be just basketball. He faced death, looked it straight in the eye and said, I'm going to live beyond, and I'm going to do something beyond my death that will impact on mankind. I think that's what his legacy will be, is what he did in those last 4 or 5 months of his life.
And this is the final day of Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research on ESPN as we continue our commitment to the V Foundation and Jim Valvano's dream to defeat cancer. Alongside Carolyn Peck, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Carolyn, both of these teams have personal connections to this cause.
Well, Brett Comer told us earlier today that his father passed away about 4 years ago of blood cancer, and that tattoo, it's some verses and some sayings that had to help him to cope with the loss of his dad. And also Stan Heath was telling me that he lost his mother 2 years ago to colon cancer. It's just a disease that I don't know one person that hasn't been affected in one way or the other by cancer.
Coming up on 5 minutes gone by, we're tied at 4 in the battle for Dunk City bragging rights. Rudd, jumper, good. 4 early points for Victor Rudd, the senior out of Los Angeles, California, by way of Arizona State.
But USF, they've got to be concerned. They're not able to get paint points. They're not able to get production from inside that painted area.
Skip pass. Svedicinen knocks it in, and he's their best long-range shooter.
I'm going to tell you, that's what he does. He is 50% on the year, and that's making 20 out of 40.
First lead of the game for the Eagles. Ekbunu, offensive rebound. And the lead is short-lived as USF regains control.
And that's what he does, playing up around the rim.
As big as they are, USF actually struggles offensive rebounds. They've lost second chance points battles in 7 of their 8 games this year.
And that's a big reason, Stan. He changed the starting lineup. Put Perry in that lineup, had Rudd at the 3, so they have bigger size inside the rebound.
Rudd, another rebound. He's gobbling up rebounds in the early going. That's his 3rd. Brock, nice look. Allen had it blocked. Ekbunu works against Feeler. Oh, and what a tip by Victor Rudd. It wasn't a dunk, but it sure was impressive.
I'm impressed with Victor Rudd so far in this game. He's playing with a lot of energy and especially attacking the basket.
Svedicinen again, this time off to the right. Allen rebounds, and for a guard, he's the second leading rebounder on this Bulls team. 7 minutes gone by, 10-7 USF lead. Rudd, he's a streak shooter. 8 points for Victor Rudd. Comer, nice feed inside. Feeler's gotten a bunch of touches in the early going. He's fouled and will go to the line for the first time tonight.
Look, Victor Rudd wants to be playing at that next level, and plays like this with that mentality of going to the glass. That'll do it, and staying in attack mode, not just selling for outside jumpers, but attacking the glass.
Chase Feeler, his first free throws of the night, somehow touches every part of the rim, and it falls in. So 3 points early for Chase Feeler, the senior out of Parkersburg, West Virginia. They call him the Golden Boy, and they mean that in earnest. They say he's just a flat-out all-American kid. Never gets in trouble, always doing the right thing, and he could certainly jump out of the gym with the best of them. Svedicinen off the mark.
You talk about Feeler, he's really a 3, being forced to play the 4 inside.
Now number 1 in white, Musa Abdul-Alim has just checked in, as has Zach Leday and Chris Perry, who has the ball. Perry goes to work immediately. Feeler tries to take it away. They call it jump ball, and it's going to be Eagles basketball. Feeler's going to get his first rest of the game. Not a very deep team that Joe Dooley has.
And Dooley has to really work on his rotations, because Nate Hicks, that came in the game, he only plays about 17, 18 minutes a game. He's a player that suffers with asthma, so he's got to play in short spurts.
Here's Comer himself. First 2 of the game for Brett Comer, who grew up just about an hour away from here in Winter Park, Florida. Said his mom and grandma are in the stands tonight.
And he said a couple of friends, because that ticket rule, you can only get 4 people on the pass list.
Musa Abdul-Alim in and out. He struggled with his 3-point shot all season. Here's DeJuan Graff. Off to Comer for 3. Short. And the rebound to Brock.
He said this was going to be a track meet.
Well, in the preseason, Stan Heath practiced his club with a 20-second shot clock. And for Florida Gulf Coast, just by way of their nature, they like to get a shot up in the first 8 seconds of the shot clock. Nice little leaner off the window for Bernard Thompson. 4 points away from 1,000 for his career.
He's chipping away, slowly but surely he can get that 1,000.
And he's still not 100% healthy. He's got a nagging ankle issue.
we're talking about his score. This is the second leading steals player returning, active player returning this season.
Brock off balance and off the mark. Thompson the rebound. Tied at 12, a chance to take the lead for the Eagles. Thompson, nice jump stop. And he went down and luckily got back up.
Yeah, with this pace, it's going to be survival of the fittest. Who will start grabbing their shorts first?
Counting down to 10 minutes gone by in the first half. We're knotted at 12. Here's Zach Leday. His first shot attempt off the mark.
Three-point shooting is not a strength of USF.
That could be the understatement of the season. They're 339th in the country in three-point field goals made. They're 0 for 4 tonight. Comer lost it along the baseline. And it's going to stay Florida Gulf Coast basketball. Wholesale substitutions for the Bulls when we return, but Brett Comer and the visiting Eagles keeping it close.
Well, first with the European step, getting a nice tap off the glass. He's keeping Florida Gulf Coast University right in this ball game.
Use exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Skechers Relax Fit. Roomier footwear with a memory foam insole for total comfort. Your score, 9:42 into the first half, 12 all, Florida Gulf Coast and USF. On Wednesday, keep it locked on ESPNU for a Holiday Hoops doubleheader. At 7, the Wolfpack take on the Vols. Then at 9, the Tigers battle the Red Raiders. Holiday Hoops presented by K Jewelers, Wednesday starting at 7 on ESPNU and also live on Watch ESPN. And we build this as a battle of bragging rights for Dunk City, and it's only Dunk City because of the point guards. Anthony Collins for the Bulls and Brett Comer for Florida Gulf Coast. Jay Billis, our colleague, before the season started, listed both of them in his top 6 in terms of on-time, on-target passers. We've seen some of that already tonight.
Yeah, these 2 point guards can really answer the question of to who to win and where to deliver the basketball. But I think so far it's been Brett Comer that has been the point guard that has done a better job of really providing for his team a number of different things, from the assists, and also Comer has shown his ability to score. Really, Anthony Collins has seemed to not be quite on pace the way he was in the Alabama game.
Collins did have a 9-day break like the rest of his team did from game action. Stan Heath told us before the game he put him through the rigors on Saturday and said they were knocking a little bit of rust off. But Anthony Collins, with that 9-day rest, should be as close to 100% with that knee injury as he has been all year. And
Stan Heath gave him extra rest, so he may be a little more rusty today until he gets back into game tempo.
And how about this? Out of the timeout, a 5-second inbounds violation. So it'll be USF basketball. That's the 4th Florida Gulf Coast turnover. They average just under 12 a game. Joe Dooley prides himself and tries to drive into his team, taking care of the basketball. We didn't see it there.
Watch Anthony Collins, he gets so low. But right now, he's not getting the ball inside like he normally does.
Here's Alim, aggressive to the hole. He's fouled. And Musa Abdul Alim, the newest graduate of the USF Bulls, will go to the line and shoot 2.
That's what Stan Heath wants to see. Don't settle for the three-point shot, but attack the basket. Doing so, you get to the free throw line. USF, they get about 30% of their points from the free throw line.
Alim, a left-hander. Just this past weekend, officially became a graduate of the University of South Florida, so congratulations to him. He missed his first free throw, but in the early part of the season, he's shooting 80% from the line.
Look at that, 29.2% of the scoring coming from the free throw line.
Still tied at 12, a chance to take the lead for the Eagles.
Like the defensive positioning of the Bulls. They're playing with their feet, not a lot of hands.
And we're going the other way. They're going to call travel on Feeler. And just to piggyback on what you said about playing defense with their feet, Stan Heath prides himself on a physical brand of defensive basketball, and yet you look up in the stat sheets, they have the 22nd least amount of fouls in the nation. That's impressive for a Stan Heath coach club.
I think you can attribute a lot of that to Donnie Marsh that's on his staff now. I got to know him when he was coaching at UAB, and he is a very detailed person when it comes to, and intense, playing defense.
Two-pointer by Rudd off the mark, the rebound for Hicks, so it's one and done for the Bulls. Jones inside, Feeler got knocked down and tangled up with Perry, but they're going to get the freshman for the foul.
It looked like Perry was winning that battle because of his strength, but he did. He pushed Feeler to the ground.
See how much they rely on Feeler. Here's Thompson for three. Bernard Thompson has 7 points. Here's a lob, just off the mark. First lead of the game for Florida Gulf Coast, 15-12.
Stopping the dunks was a concern for Florida Gulf Coast University.
Feeler in and out on the baby hook. And Rudd his 4th rebound. Well, floater by Collins, no good. Thompson brings it up for the Eagles. Three-pointer again. Ill-advised. Perry the rebound.
And I think Collins is trying to do, Stan Heath told him he wanted to shoot the ball more, but it's something he hadn't been doing regular all season. It's something he did before the injury, but now he's just got to get rhythm and confidence in making shots.
Rock. No call. Collins looking to break down the defense, and they get him for palming the basketball. 7:08 to go, Florida Gulf Coast. A 3-point lead over the Bulls on the road. Florida, 7:08 to go in the first half. Florida Gulf Coast leads at 15-12 over USF. And you know, it's middle of December, Carolyn. It's cold, it's freezing and snowing in most part of the country. You're a former head coach. How do you recruit to this kind of weather?
Well, it's a little bit difficult to recruit to that, but it's not difficult to recruit to that, what you see right there on the beach. Hey, on campus, even have a boat the students can rent. Is that a resort? It looks like it could be all-inclusive.
That is Dunk City personified. Fort Myers has made a big splash in Division I basketball, and here's some facts and figures for Florida Gulf Coast if this might be your first time seeing them. 32 combined regular season and tournament titles in the Atlantic Sun in 6 years, but obviously the biggest story coming last year, 2 wins, has really reshaped this entire program.
When they got the 2 wins in the NCAA tournament, and it wasn't just that a mid-major was advancing in the NCAA tournament, it was the style in which they did when they got that nickname Dunk City. It was just run and gun basketball and up, throw the ball around the rim. Hey, playing ball like that, that's hard to scout.
Georgetown in the first round, San Diego State in the second round. First time a 15 seed made it to the Sweet 16. Here's Jones, nice take off the timeout. Jamel Jones, they call him Mellow, and he has his first 2 of the game. Largest lead of the game for the Eagles is 5.
The efficiency goes to the advantage of FGCU.
Kick ball at Spadichinen, so it'll stay Bulls basketball.
You know, we were talking about that. Stan Heath said that after finals were over, their offense stagnant sometimes and not moving the basketball. And right now, it looks like they're playing, they're thinking instead of playing.
Inside Perry, double teamed, fights around it to his fellow freshman, Igbunu. off the window. Good start for the freshman John Egbunu from Fort Walton Beach.
Even at the double team, post players inside, able to score. They have, I feel like, the advantage down low, USF.
Comer had it taken away by his counterpart Collins.
This could be a highlight.
Collins himself in and out. Hicks the rebound. Comer took it himself, and he'll go to the line and shoot two.
Well, the big man, even with the double team, Chris Perry recognizes that Egbunu is down low and the strength to finish inside.
Comer, a 61% free throw shooter. Free throw shooting has been an issue for this team, shooting at about that same clip, 61% as a team, but they have shot it better on the road at around 69%. And here's some more bad news. Not only are they losing, but now Anthony Collins has to go to the bench saddled with 2 fouls.
And the offense doesn't move as well with him not on the floor. He just looks like he's pressing too much. He's trying to make that decision. There was no question in the early games of the season he was a distributor. Now he's trying to get back in the rhythm of when is it his time to score and when is it time to give the ball up.
Comer, the reigning ASUN Player of the Week, now has 4 points.
Look, I would rest Brett Comer too as long as Anthony Collins is sitting on the bench. University of South Florida.
Rudd directs traffic. Perry muscles his way up and in.
All day. They've got the strength and the power to score inside.
It's a one-possession ball game, counting down to 5 minutes to go in the first half. And a little bit of a chucking foul. Teddy Valentine says we're going the other way.
As soon as the ball goes to the high post, Perry demanded it down low, and he used his body. He did his work early so that he had just that drop step, go around the defense, and finish.
So the foul's going to be on Jamel Jones, and Corey Allen Jr. will run the point with Collins on the bench.
I like Chris Perry. He looks like he's 12 years old, but he's a big body, and he likes to work. Even on their days off, he was in the gym putting in extra work.
Under 5 minutes to go. Perry again. Egbunu, second chance. That's something they fail to do very often.
Oh, he's got a height advantage. He's got to go.
They're going to get feeler for the foul, and Egbunu will go to the line and shoot.
Egbunu's looking to pass out. He's got a size advantage on Blake. He needs to just punish him when he gets him planted down low.
Not to mention Marcus Blake is a former walk-on, a redshirt junior. That is another mismatch that Stan Heath would look to exploit all day long, and probably one of the reasons why we're seeing Nate Hicks back in the game. So it is not a shooting foul. Egbunu will go to the bench. Musa Abdul-Alim checks back in. And it'll be USF basketball under their own basket.
Well, it's a little bit of a chess match now. It's like, are you going to play big or small? Right now, both teams have only really one true post in and 4 guards.
Rudd, shot fake, drills it. And Victor Rudd's in double digits already.
That's a good
points
decision.
and it's a 1-point lead.
That's a great decision. Shot fake, don't just settle for the 3. Let the defense fly by, take that open jumper.
Surveying off to Thompson. Jones, mid-post, no good. Alim the rebound. Rudd, pull up. And we're going the other way.
Victor Rudd, he's being the leader that he needs to be. Great decision. The up and then the 2.
Coming up at halftime, Dino Gaudio will join me. We'll take a look at the first half. Another American team in action. We'll update you on Cincinnati as they take on Pittsburgh. We'll look ahead to Florida and Memphis and some top 10 teams in action, including a banged-up Michigan State team. See you at half.
USF trails by 1, but they're up 6-0 in the second chance points department, and that's something that they've faltered with in the beginning part of this season, Carolyn, but Victor Rudd's a big part of the reason why they're doing that.
I think it's the aggressive and attack mentality that Victor Rudd entered this game with. Watch this rebound. The tap. I love that. And then when he got the ball at the top of the key, instead of just settling for an outside jumper, attacking. And he's reading the defense. Get the defense off their feet and then blow by, get an easy look, and he's knocking down the shots.
I've seen a number of USF games this season. I think this is easily the best first half of play I've seen from Victor Rudd all year. 10 points and 5 boards.
And that's great to see from your leader. You know, your team is struggling offensively, so he is being the go-to, and he is delivering. That can help keep your team in this ball game.
6 offensive rebounds for the Bulls, yet they find themselves down 1. 3.5 to go in the first half. Ted Valentine initially said it's going to be Eagles basketball, but upon further consideration and some lobbying by Stan Heath, they reversed the call.
He had a little meeting over there with the officials. But it's going to be interesting now. Can USF get their offense flowing with Anthony Collins having to be on the bench in foul trouble? Florida Gulf Coast University almost in a zone the way that they're man-to-man, a sag, and everybody's ready to help inside the paint.
5 on the shot clock. Inside, outside. Allen, too strong. Hicks, the long rebound. Here's Hicks with the jump shot. 2-pointer, no good. Rudd, his 6th board.
Rudd's working on a double-double for tonight, I believe.
Two and a half to go.
When the ball's on the wing, you watch. Everybody is looking to see where they can help in the paint. They want to make the Bulls have to shoot the ball from outside.
Allen again for 3. This time it's good. First 3 of the game for Corey Allen Jr. And the Bulls are back on top by pair. Comer himself. Thompson, a fresh 35 for the Eagles. Jones, nice spin move, but he found nothing but air. Here comes Brock. Rudd, foul on the floor before the shot.
Again, Victor Rudd understanding attack the basket. And when your team is struggling offensively, instead of just settling for outside shots, yeah, Corey Allen hit a 3, but Victor Rudd understands that he can go off the bounce. He's got the strength and the size.
Here's Allen, swatted by Hicks. This is where they like to run. Extra pass, good hands by Martino Brock, who Stan Heath says might be his best defender. It's going to stay Eagles basketball, though.
Look, Nate Hicks said, young man. You're a little bit too small to come in here with that stuff.
Hicks, a 6'10", redshirt junior transfer from Georgia Tech. Coming up on 1.5 to go in the first half. There's Thompson. Off the mark. Rudd, another rebound. Make it 7 boards for the senior.
Both teams know they have to control tempo
Here's Allen. And Ted Valentine under the basket. And it's a timeout on the floor. Florida Gulf Coast wants to talk it over with just over a minute left in the first half. One of the top teams in the nation headlines ESPNU's coverage of Holiday Hoops Saturday. First at noon, freshman Julius Randle and the Kentucky Wildcats host Rick Byrd and the defending OVC champion Belmont Bruins. Then at 5, Davidson takes on the Tar Heels of North Carolina. Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers Saturday at noon and 5 on ESPNU. Both games also live on Watch ESPN. Florida Gulf Coast, 7 made field goals, but 8 turnovers. And that was something we talked to Brett Comer earlier today, and he said last year was like chaos. This year, now that Joe Dooley's come in, it's more like controlled chaos.
Well, and that's what Joe Dooley wanted to do. You know, last year, Florida Gulf Coast University was, you know, get steals and run and put it up around the rim, and if you turn it over, just get it back. Well, this year, where you were getting 9 assists, probably 5 or 6 turnovers, he wanted to lessen that number of turnovers and be more efficient with the offense.
So he's probably not happy with that number 8 in the turnover column so far. Svedicinen off the mark. Allen, the number rebound. About a 12-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Brock had a foot on the line. That's a 2-pointer. First 2 of the game for Martino Brock. And it's 23-19, USF with the lead.
Svedicinen has to get more touches, more looks. He is the most efficient three-point shooter. He shoots 50%. Get him some shots.
We're in the midst of a 9-0 USF Bulls run. Six on the shot clock. Comer. Jones. Jones gets it back. Oh, my! And as the half ends, if memory serves, that's the first dunk of the game for Dunk City, but what an exclamation point to this first half.
Jones gives that second effort to go get the basketball and then says, I'm going to make sure not missing this basket with the dunk. The first one for Florida Gulf Coast University and Dunk City.
Well, you're watching the AAC on ESPN. We're at halftime between the USF Bulls and the Florida Gulf Coast University Eagles, and it's a 2-point lead for the homestanding Bulls, 23-21. And back inside the Sun Dome on the campus of University of South Florida alongside Carolyn Peck. I'm Rich Hollenberg. So we hyped it up. It's the battle for Dunk City. Florida Gulf Coast, 148 dunks last year. USF has 4.9 dunks a game, and each team has 1 dunk so far in the first half. But the game at the rim is still the key for you.
Well, the way the half ended with Jamal Jones' dunk, that was pretty impressive. But what USF has got to do, if they want to win this ball game, if they've got to continue to get more paint points. Thought they were very lethargic offensively. Victor Rudd is the player who came in with the most intensity and that attack mentality. But I believe that Chris Perry can dominate down low inside. The University of South Florida can figure out how to get the big man the basketball.
We talked about a 1 dunk per team, but they certainly were highlight worthy. I think the last one you mentioned, Jamal Jones, that's going to be a SportsCenter top play nominee. Bernard Thompson now 1 point away from 1,000 for his career. And Victor Rudd, you mentioned, he came to play working on a double-double. And 8 assists on 11 made field goals for USF. And that's considering Anthony Collins only played about half of the first half.
Only 11 minutes. Now, I hope that Stan Heath talked to Anthony Collins at halftime and said, quit thinking so much. Just go and play. Because when he does that, it relaxes the rest of the team. And they'll get open. His time to score will come.
It'll be USF ball to start the second half. Victor Rudd's going to inbounds to Collins right in front of our broadcast table. Lowest point total of the first half this season for the Gulf Coast Eagles. And Chris Perry starts it off in a positive fashion for USF. That's 4 points for Perry.
He can have a field day down low inside.
Thompson.
Oh, he traveled.
Teddy Valentine was right on it and said no.
Hey, that his toenail might have hung on, but it looked like he came off the floor.
That was 2 points for Thompson anyway, and now that gives him 1,001 career points with Florida Gulf Coast. Perry. And Bunu with the dunk. 8 points now for Jonik Bunu. 2 of them via the dunk. Thompson, nice little floater. Feeler gets the foul. That's only the 5th point for Chase Feeler.
Feeler's got to find more opportunities to score. But USF has got to continue. Look, let the big dog eat. Go down low inside to Chris Perry.
Perry backing down Feeler. Puts it on the deck. McBunu, second chance. You think he's feeling it, Carolyn?
Stan Heath said, big guys, go to work inside. You got Chris Perry dropping dimes inside, and then Ekbudu with the exclamation point. I think they're keeping count now. It's like the dunk fest is about to begin.
Having visions of Ralph Sampson and Akeem Olajuwon dancing in my head.
Instead of Sugar Plum?
That's right. That's a good sign when your 6'10" freshman center nails a free throw. That's his first free throw made tonight. He has 9 points.
You can already tell the difference in the beginning of the second half. The emphasis is to get the ball inside.
Hicks grabs his 9th rebound of the night. Still just a 3-point lead for USF. Florida Gulf Coast can tie with a triple. Nice ball fake, Comer. Collins comes away with it. That's really where they miss Eric McKnight, who's been suspended for the first part of this season.
To have him on the backboard there for second chance opportunities.
Homer told us earlier today, I could just throw the ball up anywhere around the rim and he would gather it up.
Yeah, he said that Eric McKnight made him look good. He could throw bad passes and McKnight would be able to really corral those passes in.
There's Eric McKnight's numbers from last year. Pedestrian by looking them on the stat sheet, but when you see him in person, and listen, Joe Dooley said he hasn't been able to play, but he's been able to practice during this suspension, and he has been the best player on their team.
Well, we watched him in shoot around, and I'm just so sad that he wasn't on the floor being able to play in the game tonight.
There's Thompson for 3, and we're knotted at 28. 12 points for Thompson. Just to follow up on McKnight, he's suspended for 3 more games, and then he'll be able to play. So right around the time of the ASUN conference schedules coming around.
And having him in conference play, they could make a serious run.
Tipped away, and Bruno gets it back. And they can foul inside, and Jonik Bunu will go back to the line and shoot a pair.
Well, he thought about passing out, but he doesn't need to. He needs to, if he can see that green painted area and look down, that's where his feet are, he needs to shoot the basketball. Go score it.
See Joe Dooley talking things over with his floor general, Comer. What a great young man he was. We had a pleasure spending some quality time with him this afternoon, and he's got a great head on his shoulders to match the great physical gifts that he brings to his game.
You know what I like is when your point guard talks about a new head coach coming in, and he said, you know, he was tougher than I thought, but I like it. And so when your point guard likes how that toughness that the head coach is instilling, that'll spread throughout the rest of the team.
Bruno 1 for 2. Hicks, his 10th rebound of the night. Thompson, heat check from the baseline. Look out, he's got the hot hand. Leads all scorers with 14. And Florida Gulf Coast is back on top by 1.
Florida Gulf Coast knows when they need points, go to Bernard Thompson. USF needs to go inside.
Rudd matches him. He's got a dozen.
Okay, I take that back, Rudd. You're feeling it tonight.
pass by Brett Comer. That's one of the few errant passes you'll see. He has about a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, so you don't see that type of sloppiness too often.
And his assists will go up when Eric McKnight is able to be back on the court. You watch McKnight on the end of the bench. He's cheering on every play. He has been a supportive team member, even though he's not been able to play.
See, last season, 244 assists, only 136 turnovers. This year, coming into tonight, 49 assists, 25 turnovers. Another pull-up by Rudd. Short, Allen, the follow. USF back on top by 3.
This game's going to be decided on who takes care of the paint. Can USF go to work inside?
Feeler, tough shot. He's really a 3 forced to play the 4, isn't he?
He is. He's undersized, and he's really, we talk about him being a blue-collar worker, though. He's willing to do whatever his team needs.
Collins lost the handle, scramble on the floor for it, and it's going to be Florida Gulf Coast basketball when we come back from our under-16 timeout.
Corey Allen with the athletic play for the home team. Puts them up by 3.
Got a good one going in Tampa. USF a 3-point lead over Florida Gulf Coast University, 33-30, 15:47 to go. And USF is up by 3. The journey to the tourney continues from Madison Square Garden, where Jordan Adams and the Bruins look for a key out-of-conference upset against freshman sensation Jabari Parker and the Blue Devils. ESPN's journey to the tourney, UCLA, Duke, Thursday at 7:30 on ESPN. Also live on Watch ESPN. And we've been tracking points in the paint so far. It's USF 18-14 over the Eagles.
We've been tracking dunks too, and Johnny Big News, he started it off, and then Jamal Jones finished the first half. But then it's Agunu again with the dunk. Hey, Rich, I hope we have more of that to see tonight.
Oh, they call Jamal Jones mellow because he's such a low-key guy. Anything but when he's got the basketball in his hands.
Hey, there was nothing mellow about how he ended the first half. The only thing that would have capped that off is he stuck his arm in the rim and then hung by his elbow.
Chance to tie with a 3. Harassing defense by the Bulls. Thompson, triple. Way off the mark, and Perry clears for the Bulls. Here's Rudd, he's missed his last couple of jump shots.
Need to continue to attack the basket.
5 minutes gone by in the second half. It's
There
been
he
close
is.
throughout.
Chris Perry didn't call for it. He's not asking for it.
Rudd off the glass, and Victor Rudd has 14.
But that's the attack that we're looking for from Victor Rudd.
Jones, look out. Agunu got a hand on it. Great defense by the freshman. That had dunk written all over it, didn't it?
With Victor Rudd, he's missed the last couple of shots, settling for the outside jumper. So what do? Take it off the bounce. Get the ball to the rim.
Here's Agunu. Freshman mistake.
Well, and good defense by Svetichnin, who really denied on the wing. Now, Florida Gulf Coast University, a 5-spread offense. Really, all 5 players on the floor, perimeter threats.
Nice motion action by the Eagles. They get it out, wide open jumper. Thompson, again, his 3rd three-pointer of the night, and he has a game-high 17. 2-point Bulls lead.
See, both teams, they really the exact opposite. What USF wants to do is score inside. Right now, Florida Gulf Coast University has 5 players that can score from the perimeter.
Inside Agunu. He had a small window, but that window closed pretty quickly. Comer finds a seam. And we're tied again at 35. It's the 5th tie of the game, and Stan Heath wants to talk things over and maybe senses a little bit of a momentum shift, Carol.
Well, and he's got to get Anthony Collins back in the ball game. He's got to hope that his point guard gets back on track, because Brett Comer for Florida Gulf Coast University, he definitely is leading the Eagles. Game's tied.
You're watching the final day of Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research on ESPN as we continue our commitment to the V Foundation and Jim Valvano's dream to defeat cancer. And you can help us beat cancer. The V Foundation awards 100% of direct donations awarded to cancer research. Foundation endowment covers administrative expenses. Log on to www.jimmyv.org. Or call 1-800-4JIMMY-V to donate. Alongside Carolyn Peck, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Bernard Thompson has come out on fire for the Eagles.
Well, he only needed 8 points to get 1,000. He said, 8, that's not enough. Let me go to work. In the second half, he has 10 points alone, a total of 17 for the game. And look, he's coming back off he had some ankle issues to start the season, but it looks like he's getting back to 100%.
You get him back healthy. You get Eric McKnight back in the rotation. They have a freshman who they're really excited about who's sidelined with an injury as well. This is a team that coming into January and February, when you need your team to start playing its best, really should hit its stride right around that.
Well, and when you get those missing pieces back, that'll let also Chase Feeler really get into his rhythm and play his natural position.
We're tied at 35. Here's Allen Jr. Collins back in the game as expected. Perry surrounded by blue jerseys, and he comes up empty. 11 rebounds for Nate Hicks.
Nate Hicks is really causing some problems in the paint. And a player that only plays about 17 minutes has asthma, has to sub in and out of the game.
Still about 13 minutes left. He already has his career high in rebounds. 10 on the shot clock. Jones, and he's fouled by Shamai McClendon.
Nate Hicks, he's got a tall order and trying to keep Chris Perry from being able to score inside. Last possession, he did his job. You know, you can already see Joe Dooley's effect on this Florida Gulf Coast team in the patience offensively and the discipline of which they execute.
Yeah, he told us earlier today, it's not like we don't want to run. We love running. We want to get up and down the floor. We just need to do it with a little more control to the chaos. Ball's out of bounds. It'll stay Eagles basketball. And he talked to us earlier today about accountability, Carolyn.
And I like what he does. You know, he'll put a player and run an out-of-bounds play and say, if you miss this shot, then he names another player that's going to have to go up to the top rafters.
We saw that happen on more than one occasion this afternoon.
One of the poor freshmen had to take a couple of trips.
Comer. There's the matchup we were anticipating. Point guard on point guard. Here's Hicks for the lead. Feeler tried to keep it alive. It'll be USF basketball.
You know, I just wonder if Anthony Collins, if his knees bothering him, for him to keep going in and out of the game. He was in a much better rhythm against Alabama.
Here's Rudd on the low block. 12 minutes left in this one. Perry fouled. They don't count the shot. But Chris Perry got fouled as we go to break with 11:57 to go. We've got a good one. Knotted at 35, USF at Florida Gulf Coast. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. We're inside the Sun Dome on the campus of the University of South Florida. We're tied at 35, the Bulls and the Eagles, with just under 12 minutes to go. Carolyn Peck, myself, Rich Hollenberg, And these USF Bulls and their fans are no strangers to comeback wins and close wins.
Well, Allen, with the jumper to win, with the win against George Mason. So they pull off a 2-point victory then, and then to follow that up with a 2-point win over Alabama. And Bruno with the rejection gave Alabama a couple of extra tries, but they were able to walk off the court with a 2-point win.
And Stan Heath said that's not only 2 wins in the win column, but that's also big, bringing your team together.
Well, I think the other thing that happened in that George Mason game, Anthony Collins went down and a player for George Mason stepped on him and the whole team rallied behind him. And that helped his team have the momentum to come back from 17 down against George Mason. And when you have those kind of experiences, that builds that chemistry and belief in each other to help your team be successful.
Here's Comer inside to Hicks. Had it knocked away. It's going to be Eagles basketball. So 68-66, then 66-64. We're heading right in that same direction, Carolyn, tonight.
In such a low-scoring game, both teams have 35 points.
Thompson for 3, got it again. His 4th three-pointer of the night, a game-high 20 for Bernard Thompson. His career high is 24.
He's one of those players, healthy and 100%. He can be the go-to offensively for the Eagles. So this defense, it's almost like a zone. You see, every player who's made doesn't have the ball. They're in the paint. They're ready to help on the post.
8 on the shot clock. Here's Collins to run. Too strong. Florida Gulf Coast on the move. Thompson again. And another timeout by Stan Heath. The largest lead of the game for the Eagles, 41-35 with 10:44 to go. Thompson now has 16 of Florida Gulf Coast's 20 second-half points.
Joe Dooley, he said, you know what, I wanted, when I came in and took over this program, I wanted to show these players that they can win in a lot of different ways, not just be the out of control and the slam dunk, but can execute in the half court and have different options. They've shown that.
He's single-handedly shooting them back into this game. They only averaged 34% from 3 as a team coming in. On Wednesday, keep it locked on ESPNU for a Holiday Hoops doubleheader. At 7, the Wolfpack take on the Vols. Then at 9, the Tigers battle the Red Raiders. Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers. Wednesday starting at 7 on ESPNU. And both games are also live on Watch ESPN. Bernard Thompson, a 6'3", 166-pound junior out of Conyers, Georgia, quickly turning in the game of his night, of his career.
He really is. He's on radar, especially from long distance. Watch the defense. Any penetration, there's 2 people there to really take away that gap.
Allen controls. It was knocked away by Thompson. 5 on the shot clock. Collins surveys. He's got to get it up, and it's blocked by Hicks. Comer. His eyes are as big as saucers. Under 10 to go. Here's Comer. Surprised that they're not trying to find Thompson. Comer drills it. It's a 9-point Florida Gulf Coast University lead.
Florida Gulf Coast knows where they can go to for points. It just looks like USF is constantly searching.
Here's Collins. He's got a three of his own. The first 3 points of the night for Anthony Collins.
He looks relieved that that shot finally went down. He's shaking his head like, finally.
This USF team is no stranger to going into significant droughts offensively. Here's a turnover. Up ahead. Brock! Foul from behind by Feeler.
I think they called that a goaltending. They gave him the basket.
They did.
That's goaltending. Brock goes up for it. Feeler gets it while it's on the rim.
I guess the question is, did he get a little bit of hand after the shot was up? Official didn't think so. It's 44-40. Florida Gulf Coast still in the lead, and they call timeout with 8:42 to go. Well, it has been Bernard Thompson's half. He had 7 in the first half, now 16 in the second half.
Well, it just seemed like the basket just got bigger and bigger with each attempt that he took. Composure, patience, and the willingness for his team to move the basketball to get him open looks. Hey, that'll help your field goal percentage.
Bernard Thompson was the Atlantic Sun Defensive Player of the Year last year. He's played pretty good on defense tonight, but his offense has completely overshadowed that.
He said, I can play on both ends of the floor.
Just by seeing the talent on this floor with first-year head coach Joe Dooley, you can see this is no fluke. The team that had so much success and really took the NCAA world by storm last year in March Madness, they are for real. They will be a contender this year and for many years to come.
Well, he said he saw that this could be a winning program. He said for one good thing, they're not fighting a bad tradition. It's only been good, so you just can keep building from there.
Comer lost control, scrambled for it on the ball. He called timeout. He did get the timeout called, but mark the time, 8:29 to go in the game, and the Eagles are forced to use another TO, so they now have 2 left, as does USF.
I'm gonna tell you, as a coach, you hate that bailout to save the turnover when you've got that much time, because you want to, when a game that's this tight, under the 4 or 5 minute, you'd like to go into that having 3 timeouts, not just 2.
And, you know, Carolyn, you mentioned really the beginnings of a tradition here with Florida Gulf Coast. If they win tonight, it's career win number 200 for this program. Compare that to 2,000+ wins for the Blue Bloods.
But Joe Dooley, I think, also has this team convinced that you can keep improving the way that you are, and you can compete with those teams that have thousands or a couple of thousands of wins.
And when he talks, his players are going to listen, because you saw that second name on the list, Kansas Jayhawks. Joe Dooley spent a decade as Bill Self's top assistant, so he knows what it's like to come from one of those programs. The lob on the inbounds, and we're going the other way. Bernard Thompson called for the foul off the inbound set play, and Perry's going to inbounds to Collins coming the other way.
I thought that was a little touchy-feely there. He may have thought he impeded progress, but there's been a lot more contact than that in the paint.
Nice bounce pass. Collins to Allen. Brock. Yes. That's 6 for Brock, and the lead is cut to 2. A 7-0 USF run in the last minute plus. Almost stolen away. It looked like it went off Jones. And Mike Sanzier says, it's going to stay Florida Gulf Coast basketball.
And the guy next to us is trying to help the official with the call.
Stan Heath wanted to talk to Sanzier and Teddy Valentine. I'll be interested to see if maybe they take a look at the replay.
He wants an explanation about what that foul, the offensive foul that was called down in the paint.
7:52, things tensing up inside the Sun Dome. Florida Gulf Coast up by 2 over USF. We've had 5 ties, 8 lead changes. Right now, USF trails Florida Gulf Coast University by 2 with 7:52 to go, and possibly a missed call by the officials here on this one.
Yeah, and this is going to be a big possession for Florida Gulf Coast University. Jamal Jones, if you watch him, he pulls his hand back. He knows he touched it, but the officials saw it the other way, so they're going to give the ball back to Blue.
Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining, and something tells me that timeouts will be at a premium as this clock winds down. Florida Gulf Coast looking to get their 6th win on the season. They're 5-4 coming in. USF at 6-2 looking for win number 7.
Well, both teams are trying to accumulate wins before they get into conference play. And for either team, whoever wins this game, it can be a signature win. It's one of these resume builders.
Jamel Jones inbounds it to Brett Comer. And there's 10 on the shot clock. Collins checking Comer. Comer goes up, and he used that height advantage over Anthony Collins for his 11th point.
We talked it was going to be the battle of the point guards right now, head-to-head off the bounce for Comer.
Comer has 11 points, 5 dimes. Here's Brock, found a seam. Martino Brock's come alive in the second half. He has 6 in the half, 8 for the game.
Terrific hesitation. Let the defense fall asleep for just a second, then blow by.
Counting down to 7 minutes to go. Feeler, he's been quiet. Comer off the mark on the 3, but an extra 35 due to the offensive rebound. Thompson, the teardrop. That's pretty. 25 for Bernard Thompson, and that's a new career high.
That second chance that was created by Feeler getting the offensive rebound.
Here's Rudd, working on the baseline, came up short. Contact, but no foul. Jones, they wave off the bucket. Offensive foul on that one. Anthony Collins drew it.
Look how high Bernard Thompson has to let that ball fly to get over number 5, John Egbunu.
Egbunu has a 40-inch vertical to go along with that 6'10" frame. And then Comer called for the offensive charge coming down on their next possession. So it's USF ball, down 4, coming up on 6 minutes to go. Collins off the mark. The tip is good. Credit Chris Perry with the basket, his 6th point of the night.
Hey, that's as good as an assist. Get the ball up there when you've got Perry and Rudd to get some rebounds down low.
Now you have Collins on Comer because Corey Allen Jr. is blanketed all over number 2 in blue, Bernard Thompson.
And you've got Victor Rudd on Feeler.
Here's a steal by Collins. Brock for 3. Thompson off left, Rudd with the rebound. Rudd tried it on the other end, no good.
I think Comer wants to slow it down. They've got the offensive weapons to be very patient and pick the shot that they want.
Feeler met by Perry on the low block, and they're going to get the foul on the freshman, Chris Perry. 3rd foul on him. Chase Feeler will go to the line and shoot 2.
Bernard Thompson has already established himself in this game of being a scorer. Defense concentrates on him, so he goes inside for Feeler to attack the basket.
Feeler came in averaging over 14 points and 6 boards a game. He only has 5 tonight. And the 60% free throw shooter misses the first.
It's so surprising, as well as FGCU shoots the basketball within the flow of the game, they struggle at the free throw line.
1 for 2 for Feeler, so he has 6 points. And it's still a one-possession ball game, 49-46. 4:40 to go in the contest. Inside, Perry, triple team. Somehow found his way through it for another 2. 8 points for Chris Perry. It's a 1-point game. Feeler. Nice veteran move by number 20, Chase Feeler.
Tell you what's fun to watch is as Florida Gulf Coast comes down offensively, they trust Dooley, and Dooley is calling every play down the stretch.
You hold your breath every time Victor Rudd's shot fakes. Another 3 by Anthony Collins.
Stan Heath has given his point guard some confidence.
USF a chance to regain the lead. Collins, and they're going to get him for the travel. 3:10 to go. We are tied yet again at 51.
USF has gone inside to Chris Perry, gets a triple team to tie this ball game up, and then Anthony Collins, the point guard, his toes on the line, but we're all knotted up. 50.
We're getting set for Alabama and Wichita State. Trevor Relaford did not play last time against Charleston Southern on Saturday, dealing with a hip injury. If shoot-around's any indication, we'll see him tonight against Wichita State. Coming up on the U.
Tied at 51. This is the 6th tie of the game between USF and Florida Gulf Coast University. 3:10 to go. Rich Hollenberg, Carolyn Peck inside the USF Sundome. One of the top teams in the nation headlines ESPNU's coverage of Holiday Hoops Saturday. First at noon, freshman Julius Randle and the Kentucky Wildcats host Belmont. Then at 5, Davidson takes on the Tar Heels. Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers Saturday at noon and 5 on ESPNU. Both games are also live on Watch ESPN. Well, Carolyn, we thought it was going to be Dunk City here in Tampa, and instead, in the second half at least, both teams have shot it from distance a little bit better.
Well, you've got Florida Gulf Coast University 7 for 8 from the three-point line, and that's led by Bernard Thompson, 5 for 8.
Three minutes left. Nice feed, Comer to Feeler. Florida Gulf Coast back on top.
Joe Dealey has his team dialed in to draw up a play out of a timeout and come out, execute, not just to get a good shot, but to get a layup.
Falling down, Collins trying to get it to Abunu. Scramble for it, and the 50-50 ball. They call jump ball, and it's possession arrow for the Bulls.
The movement of the basketball and to be able to get the ball inside, a lob pass over Victor Rudd. Feeler with the finish.
Teddy Valentine and Mike Sanzier talking things over before USF inbounds. You know, I would have to say it's advantage USF when it comes to close games, because Florida Gulf Coast, even though they're 5-4, in their wins, they're blowouts, and in their losses, they're blowouts.
Right. Right. USF, especially with the George Mason game and the Alabama game down the stretch, they were able to get those shots to fall. The Florida Gulf Coast, they've got scoring weapons, though. The offense is clicking for them today. Especially Bernard Thompson. He needs to touch the basketball.
Here's the general for Stan Heat's club. Anthony Collins with the ball in his hands. Floater, good! That's clutch from Anthony Collins. 8 points to go along with 4 assists. Feeler, look at Collins take it away. And he gets the timeout. Now, Carolyn, you mentioned a while ago when Florida Gulf Coast was forced to burn a timeout that as a coach, you really cringe when that happens. What do you think Stan Heath is thinking now that they're down to 1 TO?
The difference was when Florida Gulf Coast used that timeout, there were 8 minutes left to go in the ball game. Now it's 1:48. You want to preserve every possession you possibly can. It's a tie ball game now, and it's less than 2 minutes. I think that was a good timeout by Anthony Collins.
You know, we touched on this briefly in the first half. USF, as physical as they are defensively, 22nd in the nation in fewest fouls. And tonight, same thing. In the second half, they still have 4 fouls to give with 1:48 left.
Well, you know what? If it comes down to free throw shooting contest, the favor goes to University of South Florida, because Florida Gulf Coast shoots 60% from the free throw line.
So far tonight, that hasn't panned out quite as well for USF. They're 2 for 6 from the line compared to 4 for 6 for Florida Gulf Coast. But you're right. I mean, this season, it's been a head scratcher for the Eagles as to why they're not shooting so well from the free throw line, just 61.5%.
Yeah, but you got to play the percentages as a coach. You're looking at that stat sheet. So I'm sure Stan Heath's staff is looking at, if it comes down to it, if they are able to take the lead at some point, who do you foul to put Florida Gulf Coast at the free throw line? With this offensive best possession right now, I'm going to Chris Perry. Down low.
Allen guarded by Thompson. Collins. Comer on him. Run for 3. Too strong. And they're going to get a foul on Brock to boot.
Now, if I'm Florida Gulf Coast University, I got to get the ball to Bernard Thompson. Get him a look, or either go with Chris Feeler down low.
Perry sits down. The freshman Igbunu now back in for Stan Heath.
We talked about a chess match of point guards. It's going to matter of how these 2 point guards handle their team, manage the offense.
Comer. Taken away by Igbunu. Counting down to 1 minute to go. Tied at 53. The lob. Victor Rudd missed a 3-point attempt the last time down. He was going closer to the rim this time.
But Anthony Collins has been clutch. He looked at Igbunu the whole time, but Victor Rudd ran behind the zone, able to get the dunk. Look, he's selling it, and the offense doesn't even realize Victor Rudd there for the alley-oop.
Oh, we have ourselves another SportsCenter top play nominee on this one, especially given the circumstances. Tied at 53, under a minute to go. That alley-oop gives Stan Heat's club a 2-point lead. Possession arrow goes to the Eagles. Both teams have 1 timeout apiece. remaining. But USF with just 3 fouls.
And out of that last timeout, Joe Dooley brought his Eagles on the floor, and they were able to execute to get a 2, and that's all they need right now. If they get a good 3 from Bernard Thompson, that's a good shot. But other than that, I'm sure that there's going to be an offensive execution because they have so many weapons. They can get the drive and kick, or they can get the drive all the way for the layup.
Feeler, double clutched and missed it. And the rebound for Victor Rudd. That's the 10th rebound for Victor Rudd and his 10th career double-double. The first this season. 16 points, 10 boards for number 2 in white.
Victor Rudd, remember against Alabama and what he did against Nick Jacobs, taking away that left hand. He has paid attention to the scouting report. Terrific defense on Chase Feeler, and not just to block the shot, but to also get yourself in position to rebound the basketball.
There's a 2.4-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Florida Gulf Coast going to bring full court pressure, and Rudd's going to inbounds. USF no stranger to this kind of tension. Their last 2 games have been decided by 2 points apiece. Both of those victories for the Bulls.
Terrific recovery by Anthony Collins. The first half, not so good. Struggled with the scoring, struggled with when to shoot, when to pass the basketball. Only played 11 minutes, but down the stretch in this second half, he has been key for the Bulls.
8 points, 5 assists, and he missed the front end of the run and one. Thompson, pull up, clutch for Bernard Thompson. Tied at 55, shot clock is off. 20 seconds left. Stan Heath waited a couple of beats before he calls his final timeout. Well, Coach?
Brett Comer drew this up. He called it up. The curl for Bernard Thompson. He may have gotten away with an extra step, but the screen and the nice little shuffle pass by Comer gave him the easy 2.
So 16.3 seconds left. It's going to be one shot time for USF. What do you do if you're Stan Heath?
You go inside. You get the ball inside. You only need 1 basket. You only need 1 point to win. All right, so you don't need a 3. So you need to attack the basket. You have the strength inside. I say attack. Now, we have seen Victor Rudd hit a 3 in the Alabama game. It was Corey Allen that hit that teardrop for the 2 in the George Mason game, but I would look to go inside.
Well, here's what we've been talking about. A couple of heartbreakers for the teams against the Bulls and heart stoppers for USF fans. They won it by 2 on a last-second game winner for Corey Allen Jr. That's at George Mason. And then the next game for the Bulls in here, this building at the Sun Dome. Alabama a chance to win it, but they come up short 2 times, and the Bulls escape with another 2-point win.
Now that experience, that helps University of South Florida because they have proven that they can win down the stretch. They've also proven that what you need to do is have focus in the late seconds of the clock. You can't have any mental breakdowns.
Everybody clap your hands.
We talked about a couple of key moments in this early part of the non-conference season for Stan Heath's club that might have galvanized this team a little bit. They were 3-4 last year in close games. So far this year, they're already 2-1. And it's going to have Anthony Collins' signature on it. 10 seconds left. Three seconds. Blocked. No call. And we're going to overtime. Well, it looked like the play might have broken down and Anthony Collins was looking for contact, didn't get it.
Well, he ended up on the floor. I don't want to see that again. As he goes by, he gets by Comer. I gotta believe Comer got him on the arm.
Here's another look. Anthony Collins had it blocked from behind by Brett Comer. That saves the game for the Eagles. We're tied at 55 at the end of regulation. Back after this.
All right, we're going to overtime with South Florida. That means Wichita State and Alabama, which will begin in 10.5 minutes from now. 9:04 Eastern time will begin on ESPN News. As soon as we're done in the U, that game will come over to the U.
Thank you, Matt. Back inside the Sun Dome on the campus of the University of South Florida alongside Carolyn Peck. I'm Rich Hollenberg. We are going to overtime, the first extra session for both of these clubs, the USF Bulls and the Florida Gulf Coast University Eagles, knotted at 55. Anthony Collins had a chance to win it. The ball was in his hands, no surprise, and there might have been some contact as he drove to the hoop, but no call.
Players got to make plays. If you're not able to finish, then we go into the extra minutes, extra period.
Both of these teams really struggled from the three-point line in the first half. In the second half, different story. Bernard Thompson and company really shot it well from distance. And here's a look at the last possession of the game.
Well, down the stretch, these 2 point guards have been chasing each other. I think Brett Comer might have gotten away from one, but at this point in the game, I like the officials to let the players decide the game. Don't leave it in the hands of that man with the whistle.
And it's turned out to be what we expected, a tremendous point guard matchup. Brett Comer has 11 points, and he has a number of beautiful assists. Anthony Collins, 8 points, 5 assists. But points of the paint might ultimately be the telling tale, as you alluded to at the top of this game.
Well, that's where the Bulls, they thrive, is inside. They have a 10-point advantage in the paint. But Florida Gulf Coast has been able to find the range from long distance.
Eagles control the first possession of the OT. Here's Hicks, up and under. And Rudd comes away with it. Rudd. Might have hesitated just a bit too long.
The defense dared him to shoot it. That's the shot that they want him to take.
Comer, and the foul's going to go on Anthony Collins. That's the third foul on Collins. I think it's a moot point at this point, though, with 4:11 left in overtime. Freshman big for freshman big. Chris Perry sits down. John Igbunu comes in for Stan Heath.
But I think with those 3 fouls and as aggressive as Brett Comer is playing, you don't want to. 4 minutes is a long time with your point guard if he were to have to play with 4.
The long inbounds. And Feeler will give it right back to Comer.
You see Comer, he looks straight to Dooley. What is it, coach, you want me to do? And he will carry it out.
1 minute gone by in this overtime session. Here's Comer. Collins slipped. Comer takes advantage. 13 points for Brett Comer, and it's a 2-point Florida Gulf Coast lead. Rudd felt the double. 10 on the shot clock. With 5 to shoot. No call. Rudd spins. Air ball. Jones rebounds for the Eagles.
USF cannot. They don't have that go-to player. Where can they get their points from? The Florida Gulf Coast, they've been able to dial it up. Joe Dooley is calling where he wants and who he wants to take a shot.
Jones. He didn't quite know where he wanted to go with it, and Feeler had his back turned to him. Ball goes out of bounds. An unforced error for Joe Dooley's club, and Chris Perry checks back in for John Igbunu.
But I like how both these coaches continue to encourage when they make mistakes down the stretch. Instead of getting upset, just continue to keep the confidence up of your players.
Inside to Perry. Skip pass, Brock. Perry the offensive rebound. Ooh, and Bernard Thompson took an inadvertent shot right into the face. And Bernard Thompson's down. He almost got 4 fingers right to the face as Chris Perry came down. He's going to be okay, and here's a replay.
As the rebound came down, oh, as Perry's coming down. That's accidental contact.
Second chance points have been a weakness this season for USF, but it's been an advantage for them tonight. Perry misses the free throw.
Nate Hicks went up after that rebound too, trying to secure a win for the Eagles.
USF normally a solid free throw shooting team, over 70% on the season. Only 2 for 8 tonight. That could spell their demise. Inside, feel it, jump hook, short. Rudd, another rebound.
And another defensive stop for Victor Rudd.
A chance to tie or take the lead for USF. And you're right, they're letting Victor Rudd away with that 3-point shot if he wants it. Look at Perry, but it just rolls off the left side. A minute 40 to go. Florida Gulf Coast up 2 with the ball. Comer thought he had some contact. Here comes USF. If you're tuning in to watch Wichita State take on Alabama, that game's starting 5 minutes past the hour on ESPN News. Here's Collins, too strong on the jumper, and Comer gets the long rebound.
But I don't know how Brett Comer wasn't called for a foul. He had his arms completely wrapped around Chris Perry as he set that screen.
And with 1:02 to go, Joe Dooley calls his next to last timeout. Both teams with 1 timeout remaining. USF is still in the bonus, but Florida Gulf Coast not, so USF still has foul to give.
That's where I thought this one should be a foul. Watch Brett Comer. All his hands on, and he's facing the basket. How is that not a foul?
Well, easy for us to say, but it seems the officials have put the whistles away for the most part in the last 5 minutes of regulation and in this overtime session.
Well, I know it's a foul if you have the basketball and you face up and you put 2 hands, but if you don't have the basketball and the defender hugs you, that's got to be a foul.
That was like Luke Kuechly for the Carolina Panthers on Ron Gronkowski of the New England Patriots in an overtime game. As a reminder, if you're tuning in expecting to see the Wichita State Shockers take on the Alabama Crimson Tide from Tuscaloosa, that game's going to start at 5 minutes past the top of the hour, and you can see that on ESPN News. Upon conclusion of this overtime game, that game will switch over to our air on ESPNU.
Now, Joe Dooley's got to talk about how his team needs to secure the basketball, because with just barely over a minute left, University of South Florida is going to try to bring traps, try to go for steals. It's still, they don't need to foul, but they want to do is try to force a turnover or a bad shot and come up with the rebound.
Possession arrow is in favor of the Bulls. It's going to be Florida Gulf Coast University with the ball and a 2-point lead with 1:02 remaining in overtime. Bears mentioning that the Bulls are no stranger to close end-of-game situations. The last 2 contests they played in, they've won by just 2 points apiece. So this is going to be the first time that Florida Gulf Coast is really, truly tested against a quality opponent in a tight, tense situation.
USF has got to have the confidence that they've been able to pull it out before. But the most important thing they've got to do is lock in on their defense right now if they want to have a chance to tie or pull off the win.
Comer, the lob. Feeler missed it. And Stan Heath burns his final timeout with 45 seconds flat remaining on the clock in overtime.
How poetic is it that Joe Dooley's play? We talked so much at the Open about the dunks, and that's what he drew up coming out of the timeout to try to secure the win or at least go up by 4.
Take a look at this last play. This was one of the only times tonight we've really seen what we are used to seeing from Florida Gulf Coast, a little Dunk City action.
Well, Brett Comer was looking for Chase Feeler on the duck. But again, it's Victor Rudd, a defensive play. He has had stop after stop in this second half, and especially defending Chase Feeler. He knew that lob was coming. Terrific defense.
And, you know, say what you want about the inconsistency on the offensive end for Victor Rudd. With two big young freshmen playing significant minutes for USF, it might go to Victor Rudd just by default. He's a senior, he's experienced, and he's one of their better offensive players.
And he was successful attacking the basket in the first half. He has such strength and great size to have that ability to get to the rim.
Rudd's going to inbounds. Corey Allen Jr. controls. Look at the touch from Chris Perry to tie it up.
Corey Allen Jr. was going in for the dunk.
1 second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
Florida Gulf Coast still has one timeout left.
.15 left. And Joe Dooley calls timeout. Well, good play, bad play for the Bulls.
Corey Allen rose up. He just didn't get his feet under him. But then Chris Perry had the presence of mind to be there, go to the rim. Big man follows the shot, gets the offensive rebound, stays focused, and was able to finish to tie this ball game up.
Shows what I know. You talk about inexperienced freshmen and maybe not wanting to put him in a position to win you or lose you the game in overtime. Chris Perry has 10 points. John Igbunu has 10 points. 20 points combined from this freshman front line. Impressive.
That front court has been what has been so successful for the Bulls. That's why Stan Heath changed his starting lineup, put Chris Perry into that starting lineup so that he could have both big guys on the floor at the same time.
USF still has 2 fouls to give. Not so for Florida Gulf Coast. So USF already in the bonus. Florida Gulf Coast has used their final timeout. There's 15.9 seconds left in the game, 15 seconds left on the shot clock. So what do you think Joe Dooley's drawing up on his grease board?
Well, Joe Dooley has got to let Brett Comer attack the basket. He has such terrific court vision. And he has the option to put Chase Feeler, he's put Philip Svenicianen into the ball game, so you have shooters around the perimeter. What does that do? It spreads the defense. It could open up a lane for Brett Comer. What USF has is they have 2 fouls to give, so they can foul, but they got to make sure that they don't do it when a player is in the act of shooting.
Brett Comer, 13 points, 7 assists, and the ball's going to be in his hands. And Mike Sanzier whistles the play dead. I don't think the shot clock or the game clock started when the ball was inbounced.
15.9 on the clock when the timeout was called.
So less than a second differential between shot clock and game clock. 10 to go. 5. And a foul, but they had 2 to give. That's his second, team 5th, and we saw Stan Heath saying, just don't do it on the shooting arm.
Yeah, you foul on the catch. Foul on the catch. You don't want somebody, though, to catch it going up or appear to be going up in the act of shooting.
Comer on the inbounds, 3.5 to go. Here's Hicks, looking for Comer. And we're going to double overtime. Anthony Collins with a little payback for the end of regulation. Got a hand on the ball to deflect Comer's shot.
Point guards are trying to decide this ball game, and this time it was Brett Comer that ended up with the basketball, and Anthony Collins. I think now that one was all ball, but he had to look at it, just not able to get it to drop, and that's why we go to our second overtime.
These point guards are going toe-to-toe in a stare down. We're going to double overtime, and right now we're going back to the ESPNU studios to check in. Here's Matt Schick.
All right, thanks. We're going to double overtime at South Florida and Florida Gulf Coast. Meanwhile, Wichita State and Alabama was supposed to begin on ESPNU, but it's beginning on ESPN News. What kind of game did we expect going in? 4-0 Wichita State early.
Well, Wichita State is going to be out in transition, fast break baskets. In Alabama, it's imperative they do a good job, Matt, on the backboard. Wichita State rebounds the ball, +8 rebound differential for Wichita State.
Wichita State up to 11 in this week's AP poll. The best start in school history at 10-0, taking on Alabama on ESPN News. Back to South Florida.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Dino. We're knotted at 57, and the ball has, as we expected, been put in the hands of the respective point guards at the end of regulation and then at the end of the first overtime.
Well, these are the guys that coaches trust the most, the point guards to make the decision down the stretch. That time it was Anthony Collins that got by Brett Comer. Not able to pull the lead, and then to end the first overtime, Brett Comer defended this time by Anthony Collins. Anthony Collins deflecting the ball, not able to get the shot to fall. So now we go to the second overtime.
And now you have to wonder if depth is going to play a bit of a role in this next 5 minutes of play. We came into this game knowing that Joe Dooley's bench is much thinner than Stan Heath's bench is.
Their bench may be thinner, but their conditioning is not. They started the season with a boot camp type conditioning drill, and I think that that was as much physical and as mental of playing through when you're tired and concentrating when you're tired. And that's what's been good, and you're seeing this now through the first overtime. Will they be able to keep up that focus in the second?
Yeah, you know, when we talked to Brett Comer this afternoon after shoot-around, he said he felt like he wanted to drop during some of those 5 a.m. wake-up calls when they went to quote-unquote boot camp that Joe Dooley put him through. They weren't used to that kind of conditioning. Might pay off now.
I asked him, I had heard that there were a couple of guys that did upchuck. Was he one of them? He said no, but he wanted to.
USF controls the opening tip in double OT, and here comes Anthony Collins. This has been as good as advertised. Run off the window, no goaltend, but a foul. USF wanted the goaltend. Instead, they get a foul on the Bulls.
That's what Stan Heath's looking for, too. Nick Budo and Nate Hicks are both laughing about it. They had a little conversation about that.
Here's Thompson. Feeler, nowhere to go. Hicks. 10 on the shot clock. Comer, teardrop. Yes, and the foul. And they call it offensive.
Comer gets by Bunu, but Martino Brock gets there, rotates, and he is set. He's set. And you have to be set before the offensive player starts in their upward motion, not just before they leave the floor, but when they start in that offensive motion, and Brock was there.
So they count the basket. That's 15 points for Comer. But with the foul, it means Martino Brock will go to the line and shoot because USF is in the bonus. Martino Brock only a 52% free throw shooter coming into this game. But the senior calmly drains one. That's 4 fouls also on Brett Comer, something to keep an eye on.
We talked about the experience of being in these tight games, not able to hit that free throw.
59-58, Eagles with the lead and the ball. Coming up on 4 minutes left in the second overtime session from the Sun Dome at USF. Feel it, good hands by Brock. Ten on the shot clock. Thompson pull up, drains it with a hand in his face. That's 29 for the junior from Conyers, Georgia. Brock off balance, and Hicks snares the rebound with authority.
Thompson's who I would like to have the basketball. Florida Gulf Coast, he can create his shot.
Here's Feeler guarded by Rudd. Jones from the corner, off the mark. Rudd wants to push. Ekbunu with an exclamation point. 12 points for John Ekbunu. Back to a 1-point lead for Florida Gulf Coast, under 3 minutes to go. Comer, blocked by Collins. What a save! And it goes back to Florida Gulf Coast. Thompson, 3, no! Rebound, Ekbunu. Buckle your seatbelts. Collins. Ten to shoot for the Bulls. Rudd, pull up, drains it. What do they say in the Twitterverse? MSMH, shaking my head. The Bulls are up one, 62-61. Teddy Valentine says it's going to stay Florida Gulf Coast basketball. That's what he makes you do. Victor Rudd makes you shake your head in disbelief. But you got to love the moxie.
He has come into this ball game being the senior leader he needs to be. His team needed a basket in order to take the lead, and he had the confidence to knock it down. Hey, he deserves the ability to take that shot because of how aggressive he played to start this ball game and the defensive stops that he has performed.
And that's why Stan Heath is willing to, let's say, put up with some errant shots by Victor Rudd because he wants this to be Vic's team.
And he says he's not a selfish player. He just wants to do whatever his team needs in order to win.
Offensive foul, we're going the other way. A rapid and decisive swing in momentum from Florida Gulf Coast, now back to USF. 3 fouls on Thompson.
Bernard Thompson wasn't set. That's a moving screen. And he takes out Anthony Collins.
So a minute 40 to go in double overtime. The Bulls have reclaimed the lead. They're up 1 with the ball. Looking for their 3rd straight nail-biter win. Run! Oh my goodness! corner for three. Short. Offensive rebound goes to the Eagles. Under a minute to go. Thompson, catch and shoot, no. And they're going to get Feeler with the foul after Perry grabbed the offensive rebound. That's 4 fouls on Chase Feeler.
You know, that's not a bad foul, though. You stop the clock, you put South Florida to the free throw line.
The freshman Chris Perry going to the line to shoot. Off the mark on the first one. And Stan Heath looking to do some situational substituting. After the free throw, Egbunu will come in. But he misses and doesn't have a chance. That's 3 for 12 from the free throw line tonight for the Bulls. And they're going to get Collins with the foul on Thompson. That's going to be 4 fouls on the junior point guard, Anthony Collins. 1 second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. There's 36 seconds left in double overtime. USF with a 3-point lead. Both teams in the bonus. USF in the double bonus. So every subsequent Florida Gulf Coast foul, it'll be 2 free throws for the Bulls. And here's that substitution that we were talking about a moment ago. Perry sits down. Egbunu comes in. Bernard Thompson at the line. He has a career-high 29 tonight. But this is his first trip to the free throw line. And he misses. Florida Gulf Coast fouls immediately, and Rudd will go to the line and shoot 2. Now, we talked about how the Bulls have not shot it well from the free throw line tonight. Victor Rudd has not appeared at the free throw line yet, and he's a 90% free throw shooter, second in the conference.
Well, and you saw he wanted the basketball in his hands. He knows the situation. He knew that the Eagles needed a foul, and he knows his free throw percentage.
Ice. Largest lead of the extra sessions. 65-61, USF. Made it look easy. 22. And Victor Rudd has the last 6 Bulls points. Shot clock's off. Comer! All alone! And the foul! Unbelievable. A miscommunication on defense left a wide open path to the goal for Brett Comer, and he converted.
Well, defensively, the focus is on Bernard Thompson, and so neither player switched. That left Brett Comer by himself and was able to get the basket and draw the foul.
Bernard Thompson will take a quick seat on the bench. DeJuan Graff checks in for him. Egbunu got the foul. Comer at the line looking for his 18th point of the night. And he missed. Still a 1-possession game. And Švedičanin fouls Rudd again. Well, Victor Rudd will keep you in the game for both teams, but in this overtime, he has taken this team over.
It's very easy coming off after a break with the finals going on to come out rusty. But when you're a senior, you have to demonstrate the intensity that you need to bring to that first game, and that's exactly what Victor Rudd has done. He's been aggressive to the basket, he's been on the boards, and he's been willing to take the big shots that his team has needed to keep him in this ball game.
And the 90% free throw shooter comes up short on that one. You can't blame these kids if their nerves are frayed at this point. And Rudd, a rare 2 misses in a row. Shot clock off, 15 seconds left. They need a 3 to tie. Badly missed by Thompson, and Rudd is there again, adding to his double-double this evening. Victor Rudd had 15 points and 8 boards in that 2-point win against George Mason. He had 15 points against Alabama. Tonight, he has 22, and he could ice it here with 2 free throws against the Eagles.
The look of relief. He's like, I needed to hit that one.
Not just one, but it's a 2-possession ball game. 6 seconds to go. Thompson, 3, yes! 1.5 seconds left. And it's a 1-point game. And they foul Collins off the inbounds. The Eagles will not go quietly. How about 32 points for Bernard Thompson?
Came in needing 8 to get his 1,000th point. He ends up with 32. Big 3 to knock down. I bet he wishes that was the 3 earlier that he took had gone down. That would have kept them in this ball game.
Victor Rudd with 7 points in the extra sessions. And now it's going to be on the hands of the preseason all-conference point guard Anthony Collins, and Stan Heath is hoping that he can nail both free throws and send everybody home happy here at the Sun Dome. Officials are just double checking that they have the correct time left on the clock. It now stands at 1.5 seconds, and then off the inbounds, they want to see how much time came off the clock before the foul. Well, we have been treated to a doozy, Carolyn.
That's an understatement. You know, we thought this was going to be a show with just the dunks, and we had a few dunks today, but the play of Bernard Thompson and Victor Rudd has been exciting to watch.
Hard to tell if they got it right when they stopped the clock at .4. Now, if they don't add any time, you can't get a shot off at .4.
No.
So the game is basically academic at this point, regardless of what Anthony Collins will do at the free throw line. So this is a huge meeting of the minds for the officials right now. If they decide to add time on the clock, what is it, .7 or .8 you need to be able to technically get a shot off?
I believe it is .8, and that's a catch and shoot. That's a tap. You can't come down with it.
And they are adding .4 seconds left, wouldn't you know it? So there is enough time for one last Hail Mary for the Florida Gulf Coast University Eagles if the rebound falls to them. Anthony Collins is going to have 2 shots, a chance to make it a 3-point game. The Bulls as a team 6 for 18 from the stripe tonight, 4 for 11 in the extra sessions. Collins calmly nails that one. That's his 9th point of the night. It's a 2-point game.
I tell you, both of these teams are going to spend some time working on their free throws in practice tomorrow.
It's off. And they give Joe Dooley a timeout with .3 left. So now it has to be a tap-in.
It has to be a tap.
Can't get a catch and shoot. It has to be a tap-in. But if there's ever a team that can pull off a tap-in, wouldn't you think it would be Dunk City Eagles?
Exactly. Throw it up around the rim. Yeah, the official just explained to the coaching staff of the Eagles it's got to be a tap.
And now look who's going to check in for Stan Heath. Seldom used big man, number 35, Jordan Amagbia. All 7'3". Jordan Amagbia is going to check in to patrol that rim.
Let me tell you, after watching the end of the Alabama-Auburn football game, I'm not going to say that it is impossible to pull off something super exciting right now.
Miracles can happen in college basketball, and hey, who better to attest to that than the Florida Gulf Coast University Eagles, pulling off a couple of miracle upsets in last year's NCAA tournament. The first 15 seed to make it to the Sweet 16 a year ago. It's going to take a miracle here for them to send this game into another overtime.
That's what you do. You put the big man on the ball. Jamal Jones is like, how am I supposed to pass the ball over this?
Teddy Valentine is checking if he can move or not.
No, he missed the free throw.
That's right, he can't move. Jones looking for it. Here's the touchdown pass. It goes in. Are they going to count it? Stan Heath is saying he caught the ball and shot it. There's no way there's enough time. The officials are going to agree. Chase Feeler got the bucket, but not in time. The officials are at the scorer's table just to confirm that. Stan Heath is shaking everyone's hand he can. He wants to get his team off the floor.
The officials can go to the monitor and check.
Is this a tip-in situation? It had to be for Florida Gulf Coast to have a chance to tie it. Feeler caught it. He made it, but they wave it off. And what a way for this game to end. It took 2 overtimes, but USF outlasts Florida Gulf Coast. Final score, 68-66. Here's one final look. A perfect pass by Jamel Jones.
It was a perfect pass, but the clock starts as soon as the ball touches the player's hands, and it wasn't a tap, it was more of a catch and then release, and that because of that, the shot is no good.
Outstanding effort from both clubs, but the home team wins it by 2. USF improves to 7-2 on the season. The Florida Gulf Coast Eagles even their record at 5-5. Up next, number 11, Wichita State takes on Alabama. For Carolyn Peck, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Thanks for joining us. Good night from Tampa. Now we send you to Tuscaloosa.